Oreo.
I get 50% off.
You- Oreo. Do you know what an Oreo is?
I think, yeah, I think so. Like when black person, do they know this is about black people? Yeah,
Yes, they do.
when a black person acts white.
Yes, an Oreo, to put it in layman terms, is black on the outside, white on the inside.
That sounds like a lyric.
Maybe I should be a rapper.
Or maybe you just, never mind. I'm like, that sounds like an actual lyric.
Okay.
Drake.
Oh, sorry. So, how do you feel about that whole concept of like Oreo black? Because usually that's a term. Not only is it a term that is used towards black people, more than not, it's a black person using it to describe another black person. It's not like nigga or negro from a white person describing a black person. This is actually a black person calling someone else who is their color an Oreo, used as an insult. So, like, what is the first thing that come to mind when, like, you hear that?
First thing to come to mind, Candace Owens. That's the first thing that comes to mind. The Candace Owens like hairstyle, or like
The funny thing about it, though, some people will put Candace Owens in the category more of coon than Oreo. Are they kind of the same in a way?
Yeah, that's kind of ooh. Well, personally, I don't like that word coon.
How so?
Because it means raccoon. It's like, why you call it? Just a way to call another black person a raccoon. This is kind of wild.
Yo, we've really been oppressed. Like, yo, it's crazy. But go ahead.
So I'm like, I personally don't like calling it, because especially usually is used against black people with different ideas.
That's true.
Now you calling somebody a coon. You seen Queen and Slim?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know at the end when the gangster like betrayed them.
Yeah. For money. Yeah.
That's coon like.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be mad when you call somebody like that coon. But if somebody's expressing ideas, especially if they're, even if they're ideas that are like against black people in some ways, I just don't like that word. But I would say, yes, it's a slightly different, I guess, category that Candace Owens is in.
Yeah.
Than Oreo.
Yeah.
Because Candace Owens does seem to be against a lot of black things.
Yeah.
Black movements, whether it's hip hop, whether it's like the Black Lives Matter. It seems like she's against those things.
Yeah.
Barack Obama. So, yeah, maybe she's on a separate category.
Yeah. When I think of Oreo, I haven't heard that term. The funny thing about it, the first time I heard that term, or the first thing that came to mind, I was watching the Kelly Stamps video. Shout out to Kelly Stamps.
Oh, that's the first thing you heard?
That's the first time.
Oh, wow.
That's the first time because, like back in the day, we used to just say, "You act white." Dude, you get what I'm saying? Like people got real like good with like the insults. People just be like, "Oh, you Oreo." I'm like, "Whoa." It's like, dang, I know exactly what that means, and I never heard that term before. Yeah. So I was watching the Kelly Stamps video, and she described being called that because she's not the quote unquote template of what blackness is supposed to be. And that's something that I disagree with wholeheartedly. Not on Kelly Stamps is not the template of blackness, but like I don't like this template that we created that we just say, oh, to be black, you have to do this and you have to do that and you have to talk. You talk this way if you're black, and if you talk proper, you're not really black. You're really an Oreo. To where some of the greatest speakers of all time, black. You got Martin Luther King, James Baldwin, Malcolm X, those type of guys, Nelson Mandela, guys that you can point to as properly talking with powerful speeches and so forth, and no one viewed them as like Winston Churchill. Dude, you get what I'm saying? Like, no one viewed them as white. Like, they're black. They are who they are. So, my whole thing with the Oreo thing is I think if you're black, like you're black, and you should just be accepted as being black. Now, there's the flip side to the Oreo comment. There are those black people who find that as a compliment, not being called an Oreo per se, but hey, I dress this way. I don't dress like the other blacks. I don't talk like the other blacks. I care about this. I care about that. I don't listen to this type of music. I'm more of this. And there's I don't like that type of representation of using your type of blackness as a way to attack somebody else's blackness because you are accepted in white rooms and so forth. You get what I'm saying? Am I making myself clear?
Yeah.
But go ahead.
No, I agree with you. But we gotta be honest, right?
Go
Nobody's
ahead.
saying like when people call somebody an Oreo or somebody says like, "Oh, you're acting white," or that person's like a white girl or something. I don't think people are actually saying like, "You're not black." I mean, if you're Oreo, you're still black, just a little white.
You just white on the inside. Okay.
I don't know if people are saying you're not part of us, but if we being honest, there is a certain culture, right? Like it's like being quote unquote a man, right?
Yeah.
I do yoga. That's not the most manly thing to do.
Okay.
And some people might be like, that's kind of feminine. I think at the end of the day, you just gotta be confident in yourself. Like if you are Oreo, I mean.
But usually the people who being called an Oreo, they're not. I don't want to say they're not old enough to be confident, but from but from the people that I've talked to that have been called Oreo, it's usually like middle school. Middle school is hell. Middle school is hard. You know, you still trying to find yourself. High school even. So there is a. I think whenever everybody go to the same place, there is a illusion that everybody come from the same area. You go to this school, Chin, so more than not, you probably live around here. So I know how everybody who live around here act. Why you don't act like us? Dude, you get what I'm saying? It's that illusion that's like, you're not like us because you don't do what we do. Granted, when the whole term of what black mean, there are things that I believe should be the foundational floor of understanding your history when it comes to being black and things like that. There were certain books that I had to read. Growing up, one book that I had to read was To Kill a Mockingbird and things like that. There are certain, I don't want to say achievements and things like that, but there's certain things that as a black person that you just be like, hey, have you read the Malcolm X a book? And more than that, you probably like, oh yeah, I read it. Even some people may be like, yeah, I just read it. Shout out to LeBron, he just opened it up, but you know. But it's not as superficial as people out here saying, oh, you're not black because you don't like fried chicken. It's not like watermelon. It's not even hip hop anymore. It's like, what are they really trying to say when they are putting some elitism or putting some elitist term to like, oh, no, you're not black enough? What?
I mean, but like you said, it's middle school, so I don't even think it's that deep. I think you just act different. You act like you don't even act different. You act like the white people they see on TV or other white people that they I guess know, and you don't act like the black people they know. So it's just you act like these people. Therefore, it makes you this, a Oreo. So yeah, you black on the inside, but you act like white people.
Yeah,
I don't think it's I think that if we're keeping it at middle school,
I'm not only keeping it at middle school. I'm just saying.
So that's one thing.
I use that as a starting point. Of some people, it started in middle school, and for some people it went to college. Some people it stopped at high school. Some people even as an adult, they may not use the term "you're an Oreo," but they see you around your white friends, and you like white things. You may like to do things that is more diverse.
Yeah.
Than like the typical activity that black people do. So people won't say, "Oh, you're an Oreo," because that's used as an insult. But they may like subconsciously, passive aggressively, question question your blackness.
Okay. I mean, but then we go back to you just gotta be confident in yourself. You can't please everybody that you come across with.
Yeah.
And if you're being honest, yeah, there is a typical black experience. And if you move outside that typical black experience, yeah, it's going to be questioned or looked at a little bit different.
What is one of the typical black experiences that?
If you like R&B or hip hop, that's a typical black experience. If you don't like it, that's questionable. It's not questionable, but it's just going to be looked at a little different. Like, oh, you don't listen to hip hop or R&B? Yeah. Like, no, I like jazz. Okay, well, I guess because
jazz is black, though. I mean,
now if it's all white now, you name it just white artists, it's like, all right. But I think, with the help of the internet, you see so many different people expressing different forms of blackness.
Yeah.
One person that, we could give a shout out to is RCD World One. Mm-hmm. They're showing a more nerdy side of blackness where it's like anime, but, people don't look at them as like they're not black. They just say, oh, these are black nerds. But it's showing a different, you got people that listen to K-pop. You got people that, or there's this one book, I forgot her name, because this is BookTube. If you guys are into BookTube, there's this BookTube, and there's this black woman, and she don't act like the typical black person, but she loves books, and she reads books on a whole bunch of different types of, I guess, fiction, but that's showing different types of black. And so I think with the help of the internet, just showing different experiences, I think all those people could be included in this definition of what black is. But
because how big YouTube is or how big the internet is there even still a typical type of black outside of the hip hop and R&B? Because like you said, hip hop itself is not as I don't want to say as gangster driven as like it was back in the day. Like hip hop evolved in itself to where it's like, it's still some violence in there, but
I think it's very violent. It's people dying every year.
Yeah, I think like hip hop is what it is, but it changed so much to where like the guys are singing on it and it's considered hip hop. Yeah. So it's like, has social media and the internet kind of, since it opened your eyes to the world that everybody's not like you, that now as a black person you can actually find a group of blacks if you want to fit in with. Like back in the day, it wasn't anime wasn't so big during the time when I was in school and things like that. And maybe it was, I just wasn't part of the group. I ain't watched Dragon Ball Z until I was in like 11th grade. Dragon Ball Z was over with. So it's like, because do you think social media or YouTube or Google, whatever it is, the internet has destroyed the template of what it means to be black?
No.
How so?
I mean, people talk about code switching, right? You know what code switching is, right? I mean, how can you code switch if you're not? There's this one meme of Barack Obama dapping black people and then handshaking white people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's these little things that we show within as jokes or memes or whatever. You got Black Twitter. Like Black Twitter has certain jokes that you, without context, if you're white, you might not understand. Like even I had a friend who didn't understand what if it's stuck, if it's up then it's stuck. It was like, what does that mean? And then they heard Cardi B on late night show said that if she's like constipated, it's up and stuck, and so they thought it meant you just constipated. And then she, Cardi B made a song, but it's like, come on, son. So it's like these little things. Like if you're in the quote unquote culture, you know what these things mean, which is then has to be like, okay, there is something that defines, or there's a elusive thing that defines what black is. Yeah. Because if there isn't, how can we all connect? Especially if somebody lives in LA or someone lives in Atlanta. I live in Baltimore, and you could say something, I could kind of pick up on what you're trying to say, and even the lingo might be different, but I could kind of understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I could piece it.
Yeah.
Lastly, we grew up very differently, even though we was around each other for over 20 years and things like that. We come from very different backgrounds when it comes to blackness. I come from the quote unquote template of blackness. I grew up in the city. I always been a city boy and things like that. And you did not grow up in the city, but yet you was always around. I'm not gonna say always around black people, but I never, from what I known of you, I never felt like you needed to prove like your blackness because you was in more diverse rooms than I was. So I never had to prove myself that I'm black because it's like these are my niggas still. You get what I'm saying? Compared to, let's say, you is in more diverse rooms. Let's just call it diverse rooms.
Yeah.
Did you ever felt uh the urge or the importance to solidify that you are black in these rooms or like around these different people? And I only ask you that because you also Nigerian. Does it automatically comes with the staple of like, oh, I'm Nigerian. They know I'm like, I'm black, or was it just automatic? Hopefully, my question was clear.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like for example, I'm sorry. Like I felt the need to read certain books to put me in touch with like my history to kind of solidify what I'm already viewed as, so I can have some type of like facts and background and knowledge of things. Did you feel like you had to go through those same steps, basically?
I would say my education was pretty good enough to teach me enough.
Okay.
And then also with the internet and the music I was listening to. So,
Okay.
Especially in high school, I was listening to a lot of neo soul, a lot of like conscious music at the time, and so I was picking up on a lot of things at that time. But as far as your original question, I don't think I ever had to prove myself to be black. But there was a time where being a quote unquote thug or gangster was the cool thing to be.
Mm-hmm.
Even among our friends, we used to act like we was in a gang or whatnot. So outside that, I never had to prove myself to be being black. But there was a time where being a thug was an identity to
Basically,
be black.
a type of black, but not just black overall.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so I think that I kind of broke away from that around high school, because I was in a private school for middle school and elementary school. But in high school, I went to a public school for not the first time, but the first time in a long time. And I think in that I saw people who actually came from those environments and had to actually deal with those environments. It became a little bit more real.
Okay.
And it kind of made me question, like, why am I doing this? Like, and this is not my story. This is not this is not what I have to deal with. Why am I acting like I'm a gangster?
Thug. Yeah.
So that kind of cleaned up my act a little bit, but I never had to feel like I was black. Maybe feel like I was a thug, or maybe had to act like I was a gangster, but
yeah.
And even then, it wasn't really a great act. It was just
it was just
long white tees, baggy pants. That was the act.
Waves, maybe,
waves, talking a little, with a little slur in my speech.
Yeah, but no, and I never felt that way either. And for you, it wasn't a culture shock once you went from the private school to like a high school. It wasn't like, whoa, like this is different, or was it like home?
But a little bit of both.
Okay.
A little bit of both. I mean, I knew, like, it was definitely a shock, because it was like, oh wow, like there was some well-to-do black people, but I've been around well-to-do black people. Mm-hmm. My neighborhood, is mostly black, and so wasn't the only thing, but it was also I never been around people who were suffering as black people. It was people that didn't have, like, there was one kid that was homeless through like 1 year. Like, he was just coming in with the same clothes. And at the time, I didn't know that. I just knew he was smelling a lot. But when I heard, what was going on, I was like, oh, wow. So I think those things, when it's like, oh, people are really dealing with real situations.
Yeah.
And being black, I think, was like such a a minor thing to what black people experience. Like there's a lot of suffering, there's a lot of oppression that a lot of black people experience on a daily basis.
Yeah.
That talking a certain way is like, does that really matter if that person is suffering the same way you suffering?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
no, that's very interesting. During that time, nobody never called you Oreo.
No.
Nobody never called me an Oreo either. But nobody also never complimented me as being a different type of black either. And I I know how to code switch. So like I don't want to say like I talk proper all the time.
Yeah.
But nobody never complimented me as like you are the prestigious black. You know what I mean? Like you are the cream of the crop black. You know what I mean? And even if somebody was to do that, especially now, I'd probably like, what are you talking about? Like shut up. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that's a backhanded insult to my other people. You get what I'm saying? Like black is black. The promo code for this week is Oreo. No, I don't like that. I gotta at least say my name. We gotta say our names. Welcome to Black Friday. My name is Christopher Wesley. I'm here with my co-host
Chin. Shout out to all my Nigerians with.
So we are debuting a new show called Black Friday, to where we actually do topics for us by us. We taking a little FUBU concept here, for us by us. Don't sue us, FUBU, please. So,
are they still in business?
Yeah, they are.
But
you know how things usually go out of business and they usually come back, and it's like nostalgia behind it. So the concept behind this show, guys, is that we're going to talk about topics that are centered around black issues, blackness, and the show is called Black Friday, and we're going to release this video every Friday at 5 a.m. because, it's a play on word, Black Friday. Matter of fact, did you go Black Friday shopping? Black Friday shopping?
I don't support Black Friday. I'm not a socialist. I'm actually a capitalist, but I don't bang with Black Friday.
I feel you. So every week we give you a promo code, and the promo code is going to be the topic that we actually talk about for 10 minutes. We only want 10 minutes to 15 minutes of your time. Mm-hmm. You ready, Chin?
I'm good.
You ready? I'm going to give you a promo code.
Shout out to you.
You know what I mean? So I don't think I have a last word or things like that. I think I'm just going to close out the episode. Like just fade it to black or something like that. I'm not edit that out.
You gonna fade it? Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna fade this part to black.
No, I'm gonna fade it to black. Probably sometime. I don't know why I'm still talking anymore.